Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we're going to have Wayne. Wayne is from Connecticut in the USA. So let's see what Wayne has to say. Enjoy the interview. And good morning, Wayne. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this morning for the interview. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
So tell me, how's your morning going so far?
Well, so far I just got out of bed, so good.
Do you consider yourself to be more of a morning or an evening person?
Evening person.
Always been?
Pretty much, yeah. I used to be very involved with the theater, so that was always late, you know.
So tell me, what was the highlight of your evening last night?
What was the highlight of my evening? I really was just doing some work, so it wasn't an exciting evening. So I just got a new PC and or a laptop, and I'm trying to get everything up to snuff on it. So
I see.
Nothing exciting.
Tell me where you're from, Wayne.
I'm from Danbury, Connecticut.
Born and raised?
I started in Brewster, New York, which is the next town over. So pretty much, I've been here since kindergarten, since first grade. So it's like pretty much.
I see.
But I've traveled all over the place. So
I see. So tell me something interesting about your hometown.
Interesting things about my hometown. We have one of the largest statues of Uncle Sam in the world.
Wow.
It used to be part of the Great Danbury State Fair, which closed last year was when I was in high school, and then now it's a mall. But the statue has been around, and it's now found its way home back to Danbury.
Wow.
So it used to be the hat capital of the world as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we used to make more hats here than anywhere else.
That's amazing. Interesting. And all your family live there as well?
No, none of them. My brother lives in California, and my sister lives in Rhode Island, and my parents have both passed.
I see.
So I'm not sure I'm going to be here much longer. So
where are you planning to go next?
Well, Mom just passed in March, and we're putting the house on the market. I found a buyer because I don't want it. It's too big for one person, and it's not a family home either, so there's no sentiment here.
Right.
I've lived here the last 2 years to take care of Mom, but other than that, it's going, and I'm starting a home free tour. Not a homeless tour, a home free tour.
I like that.
Home free tour. I'm not going to have a home base for a while, so the travels now are scheduled to take me to places like we start up at a retreat center in upstate New York at a freedom camp, which I think is the perfect place to start my home free tour. Totally. And then I'm producing a webinar down in North Carolina. So I'm going to visit some friends in Virginia and the DC area and other people in North Carolina that I haven't seen in a while. And then I'll be back at the retreat center for a month, and then off to Salt Lake City for a convention, and then your side of the pond to go to Valencia and Malaga, Spain, to visit some friends.
Wow.
And then October is going to be Zipolite, Mexico for the month. November, I'm hoping to be on a sourcing trip to Kenya. I work with Essential Oils, and the company is having a sourcing trip, and I put my name in the lottery to be on that trip, in which case I will then go on a safari afterwards, and then down to South Africa to visit some friends, and then back here for Thanksgiving. Then I have a timeshare up in Stowe, Vermont for a week. I'll be around here for Christmas, and then January I'm going to Antarctica, Australia, possibly Bali, New Zealand, and a bunch of islands in the North and South Pacific. So it's a big. And then April I'm doing a transatlantic repositioning cruise from Florida to Barcelona. So.
Oh my God! I just hope that you're gonna write a book about it.
Yeah, I think there might be a book in this one. Yeah.
Or at least a memoir. You need to put these memories in, on writing. I think that would be exciting for sure. Wow. I'm looking forward to receive one day, okay? From you.
Okay.
Wayne, so let's start the interview. I know you are a coach, yeah? So I would like to start the interview. When I was checking your profile, there was a phrase there, and I think it's all related to your profession. It says there, I help men connect with themselves and begin the greatest adventure of their life.
Yes.
So walk me through a little bit about that phrase.
Well, I believe that there are things that hold us back, pressures from society, pressures from family, pressures from religion or churches that say, you have to be this way. You have to be the breadwinner of the family. You have to do this. You can't do that because it's your responsibility. And I think a lot of us growing up were fed all that stuff and have come to believe that that's the case. Whereas we're not really allowed to dream and to share our dreams. So what my thing is to help people find their passion and their dream and then connect to it and use their strengths to reach that dream. You can still be the breadwinner of the family. You can still be all the things that society wanted, but you can do it in your way. And when you do things in your way, through your strengths and your abilities, then you're not you're much happier. And when you're much happier, you're better productive at work. You're have a much better family life. You feel better. It's easier to maintain your health. So I like to help men connect back to that part of themselves and then begin the greatest adventure of their lives. So,
love it. Yeah, it makes so sense. I think sometimes you need to mute that voice, strong voice around you for you to find your adventure and your journey as well. I totally understand your points. I think nowadays with social media, people like you, spreading this awareness. I think men, we are more open about it. Still a long way to go because we've been, raised in everything you just mentioned now. But however, I think nowadays we are breaking some barriers, I think. They're amazing. Okay, Wayne, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a bit more about your life and also about your journey so far, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Sure.
Amazing. Welcome to William.
Always up for an adventure. That's my business, adventures.
Yes, that's a good adventure here for sure. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question. Okay? Let's do it. Right, so before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, you don't want to answer, no, it's game change, okay? Okay. Amazing. First question is, how would you like to be remembered in life?
How would I like to be remembered in life? Well, I always believed that the dash on a gravestone, the born dash died dates on a gravestone, are the born and death aren't the important parts. It's the dash in the middle. So I want to be remembered as someone who lived their life and made that dash important and made that dash helpful and to help other people is and that's what I want to be remembered as, the person who lived that dash.
Saying that, what's the biggest joy of being you? What do you like the most about being Wayne?
I like my ability to be able to connect with people. And one of my superpowers is I'm a great hugger.
Wow.
So when we meet in person, I'll give you a great big hug.
Virtual or a hug for now. Sweet. And why is that? Why do you say that you're a big hugger?
My mother was Italian, and we came, we're a touchy-feely, in a good way, kind of family. And I've just really come to value the importance of a good hug. And I'm not just meaning not a bro hug, but a real hug, heart to heart connection,
Yeah.
not the other side. In the States, we tend to go to the left because we don't want that connection as a society. But I always go to the right, so you're heart to heart, so you have a much better connection. And a hug
Wow.
should last 20 to 25 seconds because then the oxytocin in your body drops, and that's a natural feel good hormone. And you can feel it. It's usually 3 to 4 good breaths is when it hits. And if you give someone
Wow.
a hug and don't let go, you'll feel it. You'll both feel it when it happens, and it's so much more satisfying.
Who was the last person that you had this hug?
Who was the last person? Um, my friend Mikael.
Wow. Amazing. Very good. I like that. I like this idea. I like this concept about hug. And it makes sense. You know, it's interesting because when you meet your loved ones, your friends that haven't seen for a while, it's normal for you to have this longer hug. Yeah. But when you meet a friend or like more casual, you just go very fast. As you said, a bro hug, like very quick.
And it's not, it doesn't do you any good. It really doesn't. You know, you might as well just shake their hand.
I
Or
don't
just,
know in the US. I don't know in the US. I don't know if you've seen, you know, in London, I've seen sometimes here in central London, some people holding these, you know, like saying free hugs. I don't know if
oh,
see if
I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to, I was gonna do it down in
it's
New
a
York City. You need someone there with you, just to be sure you're safe sometimes, and to instruct people because a lot of times they're blindfolded. I've seen it
I,
done where the person who's giving the hug is blindfolded.
I really know. For me, what I saw was, you know, people literally smiling, a big smile, just holding the thing, the
So
thing.
I had someone that was gonna be there with me, and then COVID hit,
Right.
and that all stopped. So so COVID was really hard for me because I'm a hugger, and not being able to even see anybody, let alone touch anybody, was very hard. But I've always wanted to do that, and that's on my bucket list. So I will be doing that sometime.
I found so interesting when I saw it for the first time. I was like, oh my God, it's such a great idea. You know what I
Did
mean?
you get a hug?
And no, because I could see people literally hugging there. So I was passing by and I was looking, and this person was this big smile and literally holding, and people was literally come was a lady, come to her and hug. I was like, oh my God, it's such a great idea. I loved it. Amazing. Next question. Let's do it. Right. Next question is, who is the most influential person in your life?
Probably my mother was.
Mm-hmm.
She had, she lived a life of service, and she was that example of that for me. And I think, she had a strong faith. I don't have the same religious faith that she had. I have faith, but not. I was raised Roman Catholic, but I'm a recovering Catholic now. So, um, but her faith and her service, I think, was really important. And I'm very big on being of service to others. Um, I get a lot of joy from it, but I think that's what we're here for. We're not here to tear people down. We're help to build them up.
Totally. Tell me, when you think about her, tell me one of the biggest memory that's always going to be there with you when you think about your mom.
At the end times, because I was her caregiver for the last 2 years, and this last year in particular was pretty bad. I'd always say before I went to bed, I love you. And she'd always say, I love you more. So I think that's going to be that's going to be a big memory.
That's sweet. Question for you. Do you think one day you're going to meet her again?
Oh, sure.
Wow. Yeah, I think those loved ones, they're always going to be by our side. Sometimes not see it in person, but there's the energy, the connection is always going to be there for sure. Yeah. Amazing. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, so before the next question, what's the biggest joy of being a coach? What do you like the most about it? And the flip side, what do you find most challenging?
Well, I'm going to answer the second part first. Most challenging, I find finding the right client. I'm new at coaching, I started, well, I got my certification a couple years ago, but then I started taking care of my mom. So I didn't get to promote my business the way I wanted to promote my business because I was busy taking care of mom. Um, Now that she has passed, I'm going out to, live my dream and to start my coaching business. And part of my coaching business has starts with your dream. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be living my dream traveling. So I think it dovetails really well. And I can use my life as an example for my coachees, my clients, whatever. And I think the right client is going to resonate with the way that I live my life, and they're going to want to work with me in order to meet their dreams.
I
So
see.
my one of my favorite things to do is to help them and see how working with me has helped them overcome adversity, challenges, or just get on a path that's for the better.
I see.
So
Okay,
with some of the clients I've had so far.
amazing. Okay, next question is, tell us about your earliest memory in life.
Well, I don't really remember much of my childhood, but I
Mm-hmm.
do remember, um, and I don't know why this particular memory is there. I used to have a tricycle,
Right.
and we lived with my grandmother at the time. So I had to be not much more than 2 or 3, maybe two, I think. And I would ride the tricycle down the walk to the kitchen door, in the kitchen door, through the kitchen, through the dining room, out the front door, down the porch, and back again.
Wow.
And then when I went back outside, right across the driveway was this older couple, Walter and Martha, Uncle Walter and Aunt Martha. They weren't related, but as we call them.
Yeah, yeah,
And there was a hill. Now, to me, it was a hill when I was a two, but now I look, it's just a little rise. And
yeah.
Walter had a garden there, and he was hoeing in the garden, and the hoe broke. The handle
Oh,
broke right at where the metal hit the wood. And he gave it to me. I still have that hoe. I'm going to
wow.
be 61 this year, and this happened when I was like two. I still have the hoe. It's got a little notch right in the middle of it, which is really good if you're in a sandbox, if you're making a road for matchboxes or something. It has a
Right.
little road divider sign it. And I've taken it to the beach in Puerto Rico and Aruba. I mean, we used to travel with it. Of course, you can't travel with something like that in your suitcase now. People start to wonder. Uh, but that's probably my oldest memory is the hoe and getting it from Uncle Walter and also riding the tricycle.
It, it's amazing that you still remember their names. You know, those people,
Yeah.
they're gonna be there. You know, it's so interesting how this memory is always gonna be there. Question for you, which person in your life, right this moment, you feel more close to or more connected with?
Probably my buddy Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a Canadian gentleman, lives up in around Toronto area. And I'm sorry, the Ontario area. And I know him from the retreat center that I go to, and we're pretty close. We talk 3, 4 times a week, and
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, so Scott is watching this interview right now, and you have a moment, an opportunity to send him a message. What would you say? He's watching.
Scott, I love you, buddy. And I'm
Oh,
looking forward to going to Mexico with you. He's the one I'm going to spend the month in Mexico with.
amazing. Good. Next question, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Next one. Okay, next question for you is, right. What is the most memorable lesson you've learned from your parents?
Be kind.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important to be kind, and not just because it's the right thing to do. Um, it's just there's no reason to cut anybody down, and it's when you lift people up, it all comes back. You know what they say, karma's a, and if you're not good, you get it. You get it back in spades. So, um, and I'm not saying to be good just because you want others to be good to you, but it really does. There's no reason to cut people down. You can lift up the world, and um, the whole place is better.
Tell me one of the kindest gesture that someone has ever done for you that comes to your mind, if you have any to share.
Let's see. Just reaching out when I, have felt down, and you know, towards the end of Mom's life, I was on a retreat, and my sister was able to come down and stay with Mom while I went away, and I was just really feeling, all of the
Yeah.
stuff, and didn't want to participate in the dance that was going on. And one of the guys there came over and said, "Let's go talk. So what can I do for you?" And I said, "I really just want to be held for a little bit," and he held me. So
Wow. That's very kind for sure. When people, they see us through their own eyes, when they see that something there is happening, and somehow they just give their time for the moment, for sure. What's the meaning of life for you, Wayne, when you think about life?
What's the meaning of life? I've never been asked that question before. I think we all have a purpose here.
Yeah.
And whether we ever find it or not, our soul strives to find that purpose. And if we're lucky enough to find it and reach, what we're meant to do, I think everybody then has a much more fulfilling and rich life.
Tell me a life lesson that life has taught you that you feel very grateful for it.
Let's see, life has taught me to be flexible, and that there's always a silver lining to everything.
Yes.
And you just have to look for it. And as Mr. Rogers, I don't know if you know who Mr. Rogers is, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Look it up. He's a great guy.
Right.
He's passed on now, but he had a kids show, and it was Welcome to My Neighborhood. And he had some friends that would come by, and little puppets and other things. But he always said, whenever you want to see the good of a disaster, look at the volunteers, look at the helpers. So that's something I try to do, to look for the helpers or be one of those helpers.
Wow, great one. I never heard that actually. It's really interesting, and it makes all sense. Sometimes you need to, as I said, be flexible. I like that. Wow. 3 questions left. Let's do it.
Okay. Then I have one for you.
Oh my God, getting there. Okay, next question is, what do you think, what things do you consider to be relationship deal breakers?
Dishonesty is probably number one.
Yeah.
Someone who I don't like smokers. So smoker would be another one. Another one would be just not living to your potential and just existing. That I can't hang out with people like that. I need people who are moving forward and living their life, and not just, as it was a phrase, be a liver of life, not just a gallbladder. Gallbladders take out the bad things, but it's just a joke that I heard years ago. But we really need to live our lives, and if you're not going to live your life, then it's not going to be in a relationship with me. People who are stagnant do it, and we have to realize that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. They might be there for a reason, a particular thing in time, and when that reason's gone, there's no need for them, but there's no that much connection anymore. Or they might be there for a season. They might be there to help us through a transition thing, and then it's okay to move on. And then there are some people there who are there for a lifetime, your real close friends and stuff. So, and it's okay for people to be there just for a reason or a season. And it's
Yeah.
not that you're gonna never talk to them again, but you might not be as close, or you might not be as talk to them as often. So it's, that's something I've learned.
When you literally just made my day right this moment, literally. I like that concept. People that are gonna cross your path for a reason, for a season, and for a lifetime. Wow, that's made my day. I love that. I'll keep that forever for sure. I like this concept, and it makes all sense. People, they come, they as you said, they leave a lesson, leave a memory. Yeah, it could be even a great memory, but it's just for a moment. Yeah, and a season as well. Sometimes this person stay for a season in your life, and for the same reason as well, to leave a message, a lesson, or a great memory. And those who comes and stay like for a lifetime. And you feel it as well. When those people come for a lifetime, you just feel it. You just know it most of the time.
Even if you're not around them very often, when you get
Yeah,
back together, it's just like you never left. And
totally, totally.
I traveled with a group called Up with People years ago, and my cast is like that. Whenever we get back together, we're like we
Yeah,
never left each other, even though we haven't seen each other in 20 years.
totally. I love that. And as you said, just, and it's totally fine about the people that come for a moment, for a reason or for a season. They're great as well. They're great people. It's just because they, as I said, they came for that specific time that was it meant to be. Wow, powerful. I remember that now. Okay, 2 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, next question for you is, tough question for you now. If so, look at your face. Don't worry, it's not gonna be too painful. If someone gave you an envelope with your death date inside of it, would you open it or not, and why?
Ooh. I think I shred it.
Wow, good one.
Because I don't want to know the finality of it. I'm working on living my life to the fullest now, and I don't want to feel like I'm going to miss out on something if I don't get everything in. But I'm working on getting everything in. It's a time when I mentioned, my mom had passed away, and now I don't have the responsibility of the caregiver, and now it's my time to caregive for me.
Yeah.
And I'm doing some of those things that I really want to do. And if I die in the middle of it, that's fine. If I, die at the end of it, there's never going to be an end to it because there's always something else. But I think I would shred the date. I don't think I'd open it.
You know what? If I would see this envelope, I would be like so tempted, but I
would be too, and
me too. But I wouldn't be able to open. I wouldn't be able because I wouldn't. I think it would change my way, my life way of, journey for some reason. Even if it would be a long journey or a shorter journey, I would keep that in my mind. That would be a little bit, I don't know, it wouldn't be a good thing.
And that's why I'd shred it so that I can't open it in a weak moment.
I was about to ask you, before you share it, before you see it or after you see it? I will make a joke when you said that. Yeah, it's a trick one. Last question, ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it, let's run. Okay, so before the last question, as you mentioned before a few times about you've been some retreats and you're gonna do some, through your new journey, you're gonna do some as well. So tell me, what have learned so far being part of those communities, those moments where people, I've never been to one before, but I know friends who's been, a few times in Sweden, in different places, and they come back like feeling the best, they recharging the batteries. My question for you is, tell me what's something about it that you take close to your heart when you participate on those retreats?
Well, most of the retreats I go to are at a place called Easton Mountain, which is a gay retreat center in upstate New York. And they're all different types of retreats. Some of them are more cerebral, some of them are more touch-based, some of them are more mixed camp style kind of stuff. And I really like the connections I make. Mm-hmm. My anchor strength, the coaching I do is based on the Clifton Strengths Assessment, and my anchor strength is connection. So I really like the connection between all different things as well as the connection between people. So I take away a lot of connection from that. And matter of fact, my friend Scott, that's where I met him. I met him at one of the retreats. So I have a lot of people that I know from those places, from that place. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I take away is the connections to people. Wow. And being able to, some people, again, you only see them for that retreat. It's that reason. Sometimes you see them for a couple of years, that season, and others, are a lifetime. It's
you see, I learned my lesson very quick, you see. And I can't wait to share that with my friends. I think I love the concepts. I always have this thing about, people, you meet someone for a reason. I always had that in my mind, but now you made more specific. I love it. Last question is, what's your favorite guilty pleasure TV show?
I don't watch TV.
Welcome to the club.
I don't have a TV. I don't, I really don't watch TV. So if I'm going to watch something, I do tend to like science fiction, fantasy stuff, preferably stuff that isn't just fluff.
Right. When you say fluff, what do you mean by that?
Just something with no plot, no meaning, there needs to be some sort of evolution for the characters and things like that. So, but I have a diverse, I'm not really big on horror films, but I'll watch movies on Prime or on Apple or something like that. But I did go through on Apple TV, they had, I think it was Apple, the Ted Lasso series. That was a very good one.
Right.
I recommend that. There was a lot of good life lessons in that. It's a three season show. And it ended a few years ago, but it was very good. I highly recommend that one.
I see. I'm more of a movie person. I love going to the theater, to cinema every weekend. So it's my therapy of the week for sure.
What was the last movie you saw?
The South Path. You love it. I think you like it. I think I can show you like this. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah.
This one. The South Path.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
No.
It's a very it's a drama. It's a very it's a sad story, but not sad. It's a very dramatic story. However, I love the connection between both. A couple, they go on a long hike. I'm not going to tell the reasons. Very interesting reasons. It makes you think. The scenario as well. Interaction with others that cross their path during this, hiking. I say hiking, but it's not like our hiking. It's days and days of hiking, and it's beautiful, beautiful movie. I love those movies, and yeah. Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just the one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Okay. Let's start with money.
That's a tough one. Money. The one word that comes to mind is abundance.
Family.
Gina, that's my sister.
Fear.
Opportunity.
Life.
Death is the one that comes to mind right
Okay.
away.
Okay. Love.
Connection.
Religion.
Not needed.
Sex.
Tender.
Politics.
Avoid it at all costs.
Friendship.
Scott.
Oh, sweet. Desire.
Fuel.
Regret.
Missed opportunity.
Okay. Success.
Striving.
Wish.
Hope.
Happiness.
Can't think of the word. Sharing.
One word for Connecticut.
For Connecticut?
Yeah.
Four Seasons.
One word for USA.
Sad right now.
And the last one now, coaching. One word.
One for coaching. Oh, exciting.
Wow. So let's pretend I'm gonna go all the way to Ontario in Canada to meet Scott for a coffee. And I'm going to ask him, define Wayne in one positive and one negative word only, what he would say.
Wow. He would say supportive.
Okay.
And I don't know what he'd say is a negative. Maybe stuck.
Okay. When this interview goes live, when we get to this point, we'll pause it to see his answer and have to play again to see if you're gonna match it. Love it. Let's play now, Wayne, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Hey, Wayne, you can ask me a question now.
What legacy would you like to leave in the world?
Wow, what a big question. What a big question.
Well, you said to not ask how you got into the podcast. So I thought hard about this.
Oh, sweet. Right, the legacy I'd like to leave. The first thing that comes to my mind, something related to the show, and it's something that, I'd like people to think of when they think about me, or, about my company. I just would like people to think like, what, when I was around William, when I was, connecting or traveling or talking to him, I just like people to always think that the legacy would be like I had always had the feeling that I could be my truly self with him, that I could be my truly self, because I think that would be something that I'd love always people to think or to feel it genuinely. I don't want them to feel just hope that when they think about that, I think the legacy behind would be that they had. And I think doing the show is something that, the platform here, people, I feel it that they are, it's interesting because sometimes when I'm doing the interview and, I can see how relaxed they feel, and sometimes they share so many personal events that sometimes when I'm editing the interview, I'll go like, look, I just want to mention that you said something very personal here. I'll just double check if it's okay to keep or should I cut it, because sometimes, people, they having this moment here, they just feel so connected, or there's something about the platform here of the show that people, they get very relaxed, and sometimes they've spotted, sometimes they go like, really, actually, can you take this out, because it just said like So yeah, I think back to your question, the legacy would be something that I'd like just people to remember that when they were talking to me or around me or here on the show, they had they felt like they could be this really self somehow. Yeah. Did you enjoy the interview?
I did. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks again. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for being so kind and open. And before you go, Wayne, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Sure. It's one that I just heard yesterday, as a matter of fact. And you know the old saying, I'll believe it when I see it. Okay. This is the thing. I will see it when I believe it.
Wow. Wow. I like that. Wow. Amazing. Where is my hug, virtual hug?
Wasn't quick enough. That's too long.
True.
20 to 30 seconds, 3 breaths.
One. Getting there. Could you feel my heart?
Did you feel the difference at the end there?
Yes, a bit more calm. Yes. Beautiful. Thanks again. Okay, enjoy your journey. Enjoy. Don't forget to write your memoir regarding your trip. Okay, I'm sure it's gonna be amazing.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you for asking.
Say hello to Scott as well. Okay, when you see him.
Okay, I will.
Take care. Bye-bye. Enjoy your day. Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.